Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that I have concerns that I'm not connecting through my own network, that somewhere directly when your signal is coming into your modem, something is taking over that signal and connecting me into a protocol corral where I'm not allowed outside of a local network and I'm accessing the internet through this local network. I'm saying that for 2 years, your technicians have been telling me this and telling me that I have wireless access. Network devices connected to my modem, even when I had no wireless router and that's not a wireless modem. Your technicians in the back of the house are telling me that they see all kinds of devices attached to my router. And now they're telling me, and this makes sense, that they can't access my router at all. Your people are the ones that tell me that I need to run these reports and stuff and send them in, which at least now I finally talk to someone and I can. But my concern is that for 2 years, I'm looking at my network properties and it's telling me I'm accessing an unknown network and then the internet. So I'm accessing the actual internet through an unknown network. When I was accessing on my cell phone, instead of HTTPS protocol, it was running TPS protocol, regular PS protocol, and stuff like that. So only for like Facebook and a couple of other things, my understanding was that I was on some kind of intranet, not an internet. And so I was like accessing like that somehow. And so then briefly on September 30th, after talking to your security and fraud department at Spectrum, a couple of things happened that were not unexpected. And then for about 2 days, I accessed the internet through the internet. It just, when I looked at my network properties, my network access properties, it just says internet access.
Right.
There was
I know what you're talking about there. So I'm wondering what these were connected to.
These weren't even connected to anything. I haven't been using this for like since May because I've been having such difficulties.
Sure. So, but with the wireless, now that we've got the router in there, the internet's working fine, correct?
I've had a lot of unknown devices on my network. That's where this first started, where I first started being able to actually get somewhere and be able to hold my ground and say, look, here, I'm going to send you an image of all these devices connected to my modem, and I'm going to tell you that these are mine, and I've done the MAC filtering and the port filtering and all that other stuff so that supposedly only my devices can attach, and I've still had unknown devices come in and attach to my network and be listed on the client list. And that was on the UBI modem, and I had the Eris, and I briefly had that TP-Link modem up, and I could see extra devices on that, and then it just got knocked out.
Where is these devices? Are you looking in the router?
I was looking in when I first started finding the extra devices, I was in the UBI router in the client list.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And okay, so here's all I know about that. Those clients must be, if they're connected to it, they must be within however close we are. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it can only be as far as that Wi-Fi broadcasts. What I would say now, like say, I can't vouch for anything that they've said in the past. I don't know. All I know is that if the internet's working for you, what I would do with that router, I would start fresh with it again. I would set it up so that it is a hidden network with a new password. That you allow the Mac access just for those two devices, and that you don't touch the IP reserve, and then I would see if it works to allow you to access that. Because the internet's working fine for you, so we and especially the phone we know is working because that isn't going offline. They both operate on the same modem, so we know that those are fine. If the internet is working properly, like even now it's working properly on both of your devices. We're just not able to access the admin of page of the router.
That's the critical thing for me, is being able to access the
right,
admin
and I'm
page.
saying the only thing that I can think, and this is, I don't know enough about this to give you 100%, but I think if you set up the MAC access control so only those two devices can connect, but leave the IP reservations off, I think that will allow you to connect to the router before. I think that's what's stopping us from logging on with your device right now.
Okay, but I have concerns because your router instructions say that if I don't lock in an IP address, then it allows remote access from any device and any computer on the internet. And that is an issue that I've had, where I will set my router up, and with that TP router, it was working great, and then someone accessed from somewhere else, or maybe they came in my house and reset it. I don't know, but the next thing I knew, it was reset to factory specs.
Well,
and that's a constant problem. And having people get on the guest networks is a problem, although this looks like a pretty tight guest network.
Well, you can shut the guest network off entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that, I don't know who would be getting it or how they would access it from the internet. But if you have a hidden network and it only allows MAC access control to those two devices, those should be the only two that should be able to access the admin page.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to reset it, and then I'm going to go on. I'm going to do everything except for the remote access control, and I'm going to test it and test it and test it. Then I'm going to turn it off and turn it on and test it.
Right.
And then I'm going to do the remote access control and test it again.
And see if it does this, if it shuts it off. I think it's the IP address is what's getting, where those devices are getting confused.
All right.
Because, and make sure you don't, because the admin page is a 1.1. There is a setting in there to change that to a different IP address. Make sure that doesn't get changed.
Okay.
You can make that gateway 1.5 if you wanted. And that would be fine as long as you don't type in 1.1. If you type in 1.1 and that setting got changed, it's not going to go there, just like we're seeing there.
Okay.
So now ideally, if you can get if you have even, I don't know if it'll work with this, but you can get an adapter for Ethernet to plug into any kind of device so that you can be wired in directly to the modem.
Oh, perfect.
I don't know if you can do it with Androids or not. I don't know. I've always done it with my laptop.
IP or something?
What's that?
With an Apple?
If you have a Mac, you can do it. Oh. You just need because they have a USB to Ethernet adapter. But one way or the other, the best way to take all of this out of play so that you're the only one who can connect that is to turn off all the remote management access so that you can only connect to the admin page through a wired connection into the router. And that way no one can make changes to it unless they're plugged into it.
All right.
And that's what we usually do, except in this case, we don't have that option
have it.
because you need to be able to access it and you don't have an Ethernet cord. So I would set up the MAC address filtering and make it hidden network, change your password, and then leave the rest of the stuff as is.
All right.
And see what happens with it. I'm betting that everything will work properly for the internet, but you will also still be able to log in to the admin page from your phone. So try that. Like I say, just guess because we don't work with this much, but my guess is that the phone is being assigned an IP address, and that is confusing it as far as being able to access the admin page. So.
All right. Well, I'll play with it, and then we'll see.
Okay.
Super.
All right.
And then if I need to call you guys, I'll call you guys.